Do that very often. It's 6 o'clock. Let's get started tonight. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. First of all, I'm going to call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Also, we have several new board members. I'd like to recognize Commissioner Bill Boynes from Surrey County, who replaces Larry Phillips. Welcome. Commissioner Kitty Barnes from Catawba County, replacing Randy Eisenhower. And Provider Council President Tim Lentz, who replaces Julie Walker. Thank you all for being here. We're going to take 1 minute just to go around and say our name and the county we represent.
Ben Coggins, Gaston County.
Barbara Anderson from Surrey County.
Steve Epperson, Gaston County.
Frank Zachary, Yadkin County.
Jim Wells, Catawba Burke.
Kitty Barnes, Catawba County.
Bill Goins, Surrey County.
Yvonne Crunch, Division of Emergency BHM.
Jane Harris, Chief Clinical Officer of Partners.
Susan Lappy, Chief Finance Officer of Partners.
Neil Zuskell, Sutherland, Chief Business Officer of Partners.
Selena Moss, Chief Performance and Compliance Officer of Partners.
Nicole Burris Floyd, Chief Governmental Affairs Officer of Partners.
Will Callison, Chief Operating Officer of Partners.
Jessica Pate, Chief Human Resource Officer of Partners.
Andrew Walsh, Chief Legal Officer of Partners.
Gail Mitchell, Iredell County.
Linda McCrary, Burke County.
Deborah Cheek, Iredell County.
Gerald Cook, Cleveland County.
Susan Allen, Cleveland County.
Marvin Norman, North County. Andrew Taylor, North County.
Russ Perkins, Catawba County.
Will Newman, Gaston County.
Jan Petit, Gaston County.
Brett Milton, CEO.
Anita Lingo, Kirkland Board.
And we have Lincoln County in the back.
Linda Finger, Lincoln County.
Thank you all and welcome aboard. Next is agenda revisions. I do have, I need to entertain a motion to add the Clifton Larson Allen contract for FY19 and FY20 to the reports under finance. It will be number 7. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Who was second? Mr. Zachary, okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Okay. Now we're going to move on to number 3 under citizen recognition. We do have a person presenting tonight. And you will have 5 minutes, and let me say that the board will not respond, but if you have any other questions, please get them to Ms. Lingefeld, okay? This is Mary Short and Katie.
Right. Hello. Some of you, most of you, many of you, who knows, know me, Mary Short. I actually live in Alexander County in Taylorsville. So we are in the Vaya catchment area. But I have attended a number of the Partners Board of Directors meetings, and I have them posted on my YouTube site. So I thought that it might be sort of fun to come to what I think is maybe your first Board of Directors meeting since the Rutherford disengagement. Because I was very much in favor of the disengagement and found most of the public comment on the Rutherford County Commissioner's site to be a hoot. Especially the parts from the Vaya CFAC. Now, if y'all weren't at any of those Rutherford County Commissioner meetings, my favorite public comment came from a member of the Vaya CFAC. And she was so frustrated with everything and why people didn't think Vaya walked on water and whatever. But she said at one or two of the county commissioners, and you can go look on their website, pull up all the meetings, but she said to them, she has family who lives in Rutherford County, and if they went ahead with this disengagement plan, then she was going to tell all of her friends and relatives not to shop in Rutherford County. And she stormed off. Now, imagine the confidence that gives me in the CFAC representation on the Vaya Board of Directors. Anyway, I just wanted y'all to know that I think all of the LME MCOs suck, and I think tailored plans is a stupid idea, but I just thought it might be sort of entertaining to find out what y'all are going to say, if anything, about Rutherford County. So, thank you.
Thank you much.
Oh.
Okay, let's move down to consent agenda for
Yeah,
November. I hope everybody's had a chance to read the minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Let's move down to reports, and we will start with finance. Mr. Perkins.
First item on that agenda is the approval of this board of the finance committee meetings from November 8th. And that will be included in your packet. I need a motion to accept those. Motion from Barbara Anderson, second. Second, Mr. Norman. All those in favor say aye. Motion passes. I guess it'd be all right for me to say that Susan Lackey will be providing more service as we're about to say so long to Deals as he plans his life after partners. So Susan will be doing more of the presentations to the board, and so at this point I call on you to carry us through 3 and 4.
Thank you, Rose. We'll start with the balance sheet. You can find that in your packet on page 19. Look at our balance sheet, our total assets for Medicaid, $85.3 million. For our state and federal, $24.4. For local, $11.2 million. For total assets of $121 million. We look at our total liabilities for our Medicaid, $16.8 million. Our state and federal, $11.1 million, for total combined of $27.9 million. And our total liabilities and fund equity balance with our total assets. Our MOE year to date is $4.9 million, which leaves us $5.1 million for our MOE for the rest of the year. Do you have any questions on that statement? Okay, we can move on to page 20. We can look at our year-to-date income statement for our 5 months ending in November. For our total revenue for Medicaid, we have $115.6 million, $24.9 million for our non-Medicaid, for a total of $140.5 million in our total revenue. Our total service expenses for Medicaid, we have $101.9 million, $21.3 million for our non-Medicaid, for $123.2 million total combined service expense. We look at our admin expenses for Medicaid, we have $18.8 million.
I know.
$1 million for our non-Medicaid, for total combined admin expenses of $20.9. So before our fund balance, we had a net year-to-date cost of $3.6 million. And so you can see what we use for our fund balance and our MOE brings our year-to-date profit up to $2.1 million. Any have any questions on that? You want to move to the budget revision now? So on page 27, you'll see our budget revision number 4. And we received quite a few letters. More of our TCLI letters came in. So we have an addition to our budget of $3.7 million.
Now, the cart may be slightly before the horse because this does include case management.
Yes, it does. This budget revision will include the board resolution
So
for the case management and funding.
if we have an objection, what I'd like to do is go to case net and take that up in the resolution and then come back and do the budget.
That's fine.
All right, so Neil's is going to do case net. Neil's wants to spend some money, so.
As well. As we have talked to the board, in order to function as a table plan, we're required to have a more robust care management system in place. And for a large part, this system is really essential because we are going to be dealing with, under a tailored plan, a more high-risk type of consumer where they have really high behavioral health needs, and there's usually a correlation between high behavioral health needs and high physical health needs. And so one of the requirements that they're going to be testing for is how robust our care management system is. We took about we took about 6 months to issue an RFP. We talked about that, and we believe that we've selected the best product on the market, a proven product that is actually used by a national managed care organization, Centene. And actually they acquired CaseNet, which is the company that owns and operates the system.
Yeah.
And so we've done a lot of vetting of this product throughout our organization and also with others. So our proposal is that we would purchase the CaseNet system. It's expensive. Over a 7-year period, it would be $5.7 million. And of that, the actual licensing of the system is $3.8 million. This is found on page 30 in your packet. And the implementation fees are at the time I drafted this, it was $1.9 million, and they backed off $100,000, so it should come in about $1.8 million in implementation fees. It's a very complex system. It covers not only our care management system, but it also will cover utilization management, and so we would be, it's going to be implemented over approximately a year and a half. It'll take up through November of this year to put the care management system up. It'll probably take another 6 to 8 months to implement the utilization management system. In addition, we're required to have population analytics, and it includes analytical software, so we can look at population health. And it has we are going to be required as a tailored plan to have a portal for both members, plan members, and also providers. I think that's probably most of it. So it's a very comprehensive and complex piece of software. We wouldn't expend it unless we knew it was necessary for us to have this capability to operate successfully as a tailored plan. So our proposal to the board is for us to go ahead and acquire this. We have included this in our long-range managed care, our Medicaid reinvestment plan. And is there any questions?
Any questions?
I have just one. I'm assuming that
Yeah.
the prices are guaranteed through the 2025 price proposal here.
Yes.
And then I guess the only other question I would have is, do we know anybody in the vicinity, I guess, that uses the software? I mean, we're comfortable with, I recognize the company that owns them, but I don't recognize me.
There's no implementation of the software in North Carolina,
Okay.
and because this is a new requirement.
Yeah.
But they have quite a few sites in the western half of the United States. And Centene actually was, it was concentrated there, and I think that's where they had bought and used their CaseNet product. We've just heard a lot of good things about it from others.
So you're confident in the selection?
I'm really confident that this is really the best available software for this particular utilization or application.
Just a quick comment, because I think, you know, one of the things that Neil's mentioned, we ended up going through probably a more prolonged RFP process than we originally thought because of those kinds of things. We did what I would describe as a very exhaustive due diligence process, which included, you know, connections with others who are actively using it now, kind of test how their implementations were going, what their utilization was. You remember that partners, the RFP went out in joint partnership with Carbon, and we were looking to see if we could do something. Our team, and you know, got to publicly acknowledge also, Will and Jane, in addition to Niels, they spent a lot of time on this project, and I believe that we were very thorough and highly confident that we picked the solution that's going to be best for this organization and for the members that we serve. I think we did. We took longer than we probably wanted to originally, but I think it was we spent the right time because of the amount of the investment that we're asking.
I had one question. Seeing 3 years of implementation fees, is that just spread out over 3 years, or how long will it take them to implement the system from, and will you be able to start using the system?
It's broken out in fiscal years, so, and that may vary. We're trying to implement it as soon as we can so that period may be shorter, but the amount of money it's going to take will fall in that area there. Like I said, these are guaranteed numbers that they won't go over this amount, and it can be less. And it really depends on how much actual time that they use for implementation.
But I mean, I was more. My question was really when from the time they start implementing, when do you start being able to use the system?
We should be able to use the care management system actively in November, December. And the goal is that it's our understanding that the state will have a readiness review in the spring of 2020. And so we wanted to be able to demonstrate how to use the system, the fact that we've incorporated it into our care management operations as part of the readiness review. Now, we already have, as far as the Alpha MCS system does utilization management, and we'll continue to do that and as we implement utilization management, and we'll probably start that hopefully earlier, maybe September or so this year, but it'll take at least 6 months to implement that, and so we won't probably use that until 2020.
Madam Chair, yes. After I read this a couple of times, Neil, I decided what I wanted to be when I grow up. I wanted to be a licensed thief. That's what I wanted to be. I do have a question. Somebody hinted at it just a moment ago, but my question is, what happens after years 24, 25? Do we own it? Do we still pay a license fee? Or will the license fee be renegotiated?
Yes, you're right, the latter one. The license fee could be renegotiated. And it really depends on any upgrades to the licenses that we may want to consider. But that's usually what happens. I mean, it won't be our software at the end of that. A lot of these licenses don't products. CaseNet has used other products to bring together a consolidated product that covers a lot of different functionality. And so some of the future licenses have just guaranteed the price up through the end of 2025. And then after that, we'll just have to, I'm sure we'll know before then what we want to do next.
The other question I would have, any other entities have that software? How cool and tried is it? I mean, obviously, it's got to be a good system.
How many sites have been taken? No, do you remember, Jim?
Outside of North Carolina.
Yeah, outside North Carolina.
I don't remember total, but they cover, like you said, the Centene, but they also, we got references from Cigna. They cover other large health plans as well, and then some smaller, and they places that we really looked at, they work with Medicaid product in other states, so they have some familiarity with that. But if you're asking in-state right now, we don't have anybody else using it. We know there are at least a couple other MCOs looking at it.
It's probably, something's out there.
Mr. Miller?
Yeah.
But no, it's not, one of the things that we did look at, and just for the board's honest work, we looked at it as well as, depending on what the state does, right? The tailored plan design and some of those things are still being developed and evolving. This software allows partners, as we currently exist, to move far forward from where we are now. So even if there's delay in the tailored plan, or even if there's modifications to how that ultimately gets implemented, this piece of software is still a valuable software for us, and would be something that we would have wanted to consider regardless. Because the catalyst was that we have to get ready, but we're missing the components, particularly the pieces to Will's comment, the question about what's rolling out first. Those pieces that are coming online at the end of this year about the care management and the analytics and the population health matrices, that's stuff that we could be a better system today, and if we could push that ahead. And so that'll be an advancement, even if for some reason tailored plans get pushed out or delayed. You'll see benefit to the population that we serve from the software already.
Okay. Madam Chair. Yes. Mr. Epperson, I see that the implementation fees you mentioned was going to possibly go down to 1.8.
Yes,
Are you comfortable that it will remain at 1.8, not to exceed the 1931? And I was an engineer for 30 years. So AutoCAD was Autodesk. It's the same kind of thing. So I'm asking you, because I purchased for large companies, is training involved?
Yes.
Is installation involved? And software tweaks?
Yeah, all that. What I've said to them is that this is a partnership, and that our responsibility to our vendor partner is that we would try and make this as efficient as possible for them to install, and usually when you have cost overruns is when the vendor has to put more resources into it than they anticipated.
Or if the duration lasts longer for the implementation?
Exactly, both of those.
Right. So if it's shorter, do you expect it to go below 1.8? Or you don't expect it to be shorter?
I'd be happy if it's on time. I mean, truthfully, but we are pushing to make it as short as possible. But you know that we can push an implementation faster than what is scheduled, but it still takes that amount of time.
To learn the process.
And the process usually in doing a large system implementation is not so much putting the software into the hands of of partners, people. The two things that takes the most time is for our staff to get to articulate what they want the software to do. So it becomes a workable tool for us, and we can accomplish the work that we need to do with this tool. And there's a lot of options that build in a lot of flexibility into these things, but also it requires us to take responsibility over how we really define how the software is going to work for us. So that takes time to do, and sometimes we don't get it right, and we have to go back and make tweaks. Those things are built into the implementation process to a certain extent. The second thing is how quickly can our staff assimilate this software product into their daily work. And so that also takes some time. And the CEO of CaseNet came and he said that their most important objective is to leave here with a customer who is happy with the product and how it was installed and how we actually are using it and getting value out of it. So all that takes time, as you know. And but it's really we have engaged Mike Forrester, who used to be our chief clinical officer, and he's the project manager on this, and he's a hard driver, so I think that we'll end up on time, and that he will bird dog us so that we have the specifications done on time or earlier.
Are you familiar whether, some softwares, I'm a geek, okay? I wrote software to interface with AutoCAD.
Right.
Oftentimes there are softwares that you have to input data first. Do you know whether or not this software is that way?
Data conversion is going to be done up front, initial data conversion, because you have to have some data to be able to test it as you install it. And so, yeah, it may not all be there. One of the things that this software will do is interface with other electronic databases, either the Health Information Exchange at the state level or with individual hospitals, and linking those things together is part of the plan, and testing and learning how to use that data in an effective way.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Entertain a motion to accept board resolution number 20019, 11790.
Probably ought to say that the finance committee, after thorough discussion this past Thursday, wants to recommend adoption.
Adopt, yeah, okay.
Second.
Second.
Who first?
Who?
If it comes to committee.
Okay, fine, okay, yeah. Well, this says motion second and then.
Unless it comes to committee.
Okay, all right. We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Now you want to go back to
The budget
the
revision.
budget revision. Okay.
If you get a motion to accept the budget revision outlined by Susan,
Motion.
we have a motion from Commissioner
Anita McCall.
McCall and a second from Commissioner Taylor. Will you discuss the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion's agreed to. In your packet, you should have a copy of our audit report from our auditors. Had a chance to look over that engaging reading. Clifton Larson came to one of our meetings about 3 months ago, I think, October. And the full report was not ready at that time, and I'd like for Susan to tell us about that adjustment that had to be made.
We were waiting on the actuarial study for gas 74 and 75, and so that would be the thing that we would
And tell us what that is.
well, those are the standards for the OPEB, and what, it looks at the plan and the liability, partner's liability, and then what we have to fund it, what that liability is for our retirement, for our health insurance retirees. That's what OPEB is, the other post-employment benefits.
So as I understand it, when the parties merged to form partners, some people had, some entities had obligations and others did not. And this recognizes those obligations.
Yes.
And the total amount of the adjustment was?
For the Pathways plan, it was $587,000, and for the Crossroads plan, it was $313,000.
Now, do we need to accept this? So we'll entertain a motion to accept the audit report from Clifton Larson. We have a motion from, we get a second?
Second.
A second, yeah, we'll discuss the motion.
I thought we had accounted for those back when we did the merger. Did they catch something, or was it?
We have to have this study done every year now.
Okay.
So that they look at the plan and make sure the plan, the liability for the plan, and we have to post that liability. So we used to only have to do it every 3 years, but now because of GASB 74, we have to do this every year. And they look at the members of the plan, and then they make a recommendation or an estimate on what the liability of that plan is.
If I may,
Yes.
this is the first year that OPEB has had to be put on the books. In the past, it's been in the notes, but they're now making governmental and health agencies come up to standards that other financial organizations have always done. And they said we've had this huge liability sitting out there where we promised retirees health insurance, and we need to show that, because most of us have a pay-go, we don't have the money set aside. And so when governments are going to the bond market, they need to be able to see all the liabilities. So this is the first year it's been required to be put on the books.
Does that answer? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Last item is the engagement letter to Clifton Larson. That did not make it in your packet. I don't think it did make it in mine. And I don't have my notes from finance. Finance did take it up.
It's in our fund.
It wasn't, I don't have my finance packet. Basically, Susan, if you could tell us what their offer is. Now, just the three numbers. This is a 3-year engagement. Clifton Larson's been doing the audit for this entity since it started, and they have provided good service. And so we just need to know what those three numbers are.
For 2018, it was $47,400. For 2019, their estimate is, their proposal is $48,800, and for 2020, $50,200.
So basically, they're going up $1,400 a year. And we voted to, one of those years is already passed.
What we did in November of 17, we voted to do a 1-year contract with the option to extend it to include the other two.
And so what we're asking the board to do now is to approve that extension for the other 2 years.
Correct.
Can we get a motion?
Motion for that?
Motion.
Second. Ms. Barnes, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Got it? Okay. Is that all for finance?
Can I
Yes.
make one correction
Yes.
on those OPEB entries? I got them backwards. The Pathways was $313,361, and Crossroads was $567,081.
Okay, let's move on to CFAC report. Ms. Mitchell.
Okay, our CFAC has met twice since the board met due to weather. We had to postpone our November meeting to November 19th. And at that meeting, we were privileged to have Melissa Klein talking about access to care and the good data that we have on that with answering the phone and all those things. Lynn Gray came to the CFAC and asked for input on how to improve consumers' substance use and mental health consumers seeing, doing their follow-up appointment within 7 days, how to improve that from 50 to 75%, and the CFAC gave some feedback on such as tangible gift cards for restaurants or gas card, so even small amounts might help in those situations. And then at our meeting on Monday night of this week, Will Callison came and talked to us about the Rutherford County addition and how that all the initiatives that Partners is doing to make sure that no consumer has a lapse in service in that county, that everything is as smooth as possible. Talk to us about, there's been an internal and an external group formed, a team within Partners to help with that, and also a group on a timeline to make sure everything goes smoothly. And also Niels came and he gave us an excellent report, just designed, a lot of it designed for things that CFAC asks about specifically, and he also talked about the tailored plan and the cost and how that we're trying to get ready for that to go smoothly. We are also working on being more of a presence in our counties as part of our strategic plan, doing some specific things there, and just working hard. We had 5 people who did go to the conference in December, and they brought back some information. That was good.
Is that it? Any questions? Let me, one comment. When we get to the dashboard report, you're going to see that follow-up for substance use, mental health. That's one of the super measures that I usually ask about, don't I, Niels, at the Finance Committee, because we got to get these people engaged right after they do their treatment. Otherwise, yeah. So I'm glad she came to talk to y'all about that, and I talk to Niels about it all the time. So thank you. Okay, let's move on.
Sorry, Wayne.
You're here. Busy. Old Gaston County, right? Yeah. Let's do CEO report, Mr. Melton.
Madam Chair. Just a couple of things for you. One, the big thing, January 7th was a big night in partners operations. That's when our team, the Crimson Tigers.
Oh, look it.
So, a couple of things that are actually important for you. One, you've heard about the Rutherford County transition. We were notified on December the 28th by the state that they were approving Rutherford County's request to transition over. The county leadership has been reaching out to us as well as members of the community, and also been in contact with Vaya to establish their transition team, their transition committee. That group will be meeting for the first time next week, I believe is the date. Just so that you're aware, internally for us, kind of the co-project leaders are Selena Moss and Andrew Schrag. They're the 2 points of contact for partners, and will be responsible for pulling all the information together and working with the county and all the related providers and consumer groups and others to make sure, as CFAC discussed last week, to make sure that it is a smooth transition for all the stakeholders, for the consumers and for the providers. That's what we're all working together towards. So a lot of work to be done, a lot of details to be worked out. The committee, the county managers committee has had several meetings prior to the announcement, just in preparation for the submission of their packet back last fall, as well as just kind of laying the groundwork for preparation for a transition. Had the secretary approved it, which she did, so they're not starting from scratch. There's a lot of work has already been done, and they'll pick up from there. So again, we're pleased with that announcement, and obviously as we shared with the county manager and the county commissioners, of grateful for their trust in us and kind of what that meant in terms of their analysis and the due diligence they did about partners. There's probably a little bit more that we'll say about some of the details and the transactions later on in the agenda under Section 7, but we'll cover some of that later. Just wanted to also just mention to the board members who were able to come to the Partners Employee Luncheon in December. Thanks for coming. We had a really good opportunity to celebrate partners, employees, and the accomplishments and what has been done through the year. And it's always really a good time, and appreciate the board members who were able to come and do that with us. You know, for partners and for many of us, you know, we deliver our care to the members that we serve through the provider network, right? We contract with 280 or so individual organizations, another 100 licensed independent practitioners, and 25 or so hospitals. So a lot of what our team does every day is not necessarily direct contact with individual members. You know, it goes through the provider organizations. It goes, other than, you know, with our care management staff and our access to care department. So we really do, you know, some of the individuals within partners don't get a chance to every day hear the success of what we as an organization do and the meaningfulness of the efforts that we put forward. And so, you know, when Partners talks about, you know, the accomplishments that we have and all the things, it really does get back to what's on the wall that they're behind us, is we're about improving lives and strengthening communities. And so we took the opportunity during the holiday luncheon to have, prior to that, to videotape some examples of consumers' success and share that with them. And I don't know, you know, most of the board members haven't had a chance to see that. So I wanted just to show those to you today, again, just to give you a flavor of the real life consequences of what Partners does, so that you can get some appreciation too for what you as a board does to live out those 4 words about improving lives and strengthening communities. So
this will be fun. If you have any trouble getting these videos, they're public on our website, Facebook, stuff like that. Yeah. It'll be fun. Oh, Miss Katie. I know. Oh.
My name is Richard Ferguson. I'm the parent of Brennan Ferguson, who is one of Partners Alliance. Partners is our case manager, and they've provided and counseled with us on all the services that Brennan gets. The overall responsibility for his goals, managing his goals, and the hours that he receives for his services come through Partners.
Brennan actually just moved back home last year. He's been home for a little over a year.
He was in Greensboro at the Beyond Academics program at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro, for 4 years. But the services remained through through Partners.
On campus, he had an apartment. I believe that he shared with some other people. He got around using public transportation. He took college classes, was very independent through that program. He recently moved back home, and he lives in Mooresville, and unfortunately some of the public transportation piece just isn't there. And so some of the things he was looking forward to doing when he came home didn't really materialize straight after that program. So we're working on kind of building that back up for him. He does have a job. He's working at Target, and he actually just advocated for a raise for himself this last year.
I work at Target. I am a hard worker. I got away.
He went in, he had a great performance review, he got a raise, and he asked for some more hours, so that's all been really exciting.
He's much more assertive, which is usually good. He's much more independent than he was when he graduated from high school. He's more willing to take risks, more willing to listen to a reasoned discussion about things that we need to try to do or try not to do. Those kinds of things. He's matured. What do you think, Dr. Gordon?
She's cute.
Doesn't love that. part of the community. I can't go anywhere with him without him knowing someone that ranges from bus drivers that he met in high school to clients at Target. We have people that, we're aware of people that specifically look for him in the checkout line, so that, because they like the way he does stuff and his personality. Those are all very important to him and to us. Partners has been a remarkable help to us. They've been attentive. They've been considerate within the constraints that they operate within. They've done all the best they, as far as I can tell, the best they can.
I like getting our folks out in the community, just bowling or getting a job, just being a part of the place they live. It's really important.
My name is Mary Olvera, and I am the mother of Isaiah Olvera. He's amazing. I consider him a miracle. When he was born, he has Hall-Kettner syndrome, which is a specific syndrome with the Charge Association. When he was 11 weeks old, we had pretty grim diagnosis. They told me he may never walk or talk. They told me he may not have any intelligence. They told me he would never eat. At the time, they thought his vocal cords were paralyzed, and we weren't feeding him through a tube. And he ate through a tube for almost 4 years. And he's had around 12 surgeries. He was delayed in a lot of things that he did. And so for him to be in college is like one of the most amazing things ever. We didn't know. Until he hit high school, I didn't even know that he would actually be graduated or if he'd be getting a certificate of attendance.
As a student, Isaiah is as close to perfection as possible. He's got qualities as an art student that most art teachers can only dream of having, because they're not necessarily qualities that you can teach. They're just kind of innate, and like his love of creating art.
I also like his song because it's easy for me to fix it.
I've worked with a lot of different individuals that have had a lot of growth over the last 19 to 20 years. But Isaiah is my first person that I have worked with from beginning and continue that has graduated from high school with a diploma and has gone on to college. Isaiah is a very funny, comical individual that a lot of people probably wouldn't notice readily because he is so quiet and kind of shy, but he is a very comical and funny guy.
Do you like to joke around a little bit? Yeah. Who do you give a hard time to? My mom, mostly.
A lot of amazing people come in his life to help him get to where he is. We just have to figure the world out for him. In the college environment, he needs that support sometimes to go out and interact. I mean, do things that 20-year-olds do. To me, that's what partners helping him go through those developmental stages. He needs to be a teenager. He needs to be, he needs to do those things, So even going with a guy to the movies, hanging out with a buddy at the movies is something that's, to me, is an amazing milestone.
Video of Penny?
Yeah.
Of you? Of me?
Me.
That's right.
Challenges, of course, always come with the territory of having somebody with intellectual disability. But we've been lucky always to feel like we've got the system on our side, in terms of getting, therapies early on, early intervention, and then school took over. But it's not the same getting services at school than getting kind of an individualized service. And so partners is also, Courtney mentioned, you can get, speech therapy or things like that. And so that's been one of the best things that we've been able to take advantage of is, aside from the school sessions that she gets, here we're back at one-on-one really working now that she's older, really getting that attention, because of course she can talk, she knows words, now it's just getting that jaw strength and the sounds to come out.
And Ileana's really loving the services. She loves her staff. She'll talk about her staff all the time and what she's doing with Desiree. I just think that's really neat to see, because she had no services at all before she came on the waiver. It was just school and home. So this is getting to see her do something completely brand new, and that's been really exciting to be a part of.
What's your superpower, Andy, one more time?
Okay.
How you leave?
What will she be able to do? We worry about that. What will she learn? What will she, and she surprises us because she knows so much, and she, I don't want to say that we don't expect her to, but she does surprise us with what she knows, and I think she's, the challenges is just what will she be able to accomplish in her life, and how do we make it easier for her? With a big family, it's hard to focus on her so much, so it's wonderful to have partners kind of help us out and say, okay, don't worry, we got you. We can give you some individualized attention while we work with her and have meet some goals. She's changed our lives. She's taught us more than we could possibly teach her. Tolerance, acceptance, and unconditional love.
It's uncomfortable, I think, to have a stranger in your house. So I try to, in addition to doing a basic job and filling out all the paperwork, I really try to talk to them, see what's going on in their family. I try to get down on Ileana's level and talk to her. I'll sit on the floor with her on the couch. We'll do the videos so that they feel comfortable with me, so that Ileana feels comfortable with me.
Courtney's always on top of us, making sure that we're happy, we're okay. So I feel like it's an amazing program, and I'm so thankful to live in the state and have this for her, because she deserves it.
Pat is an individual that receives supported living services. So one of the main goals for her is to continue to live independently in her own home, which is what supported living is. We have staff that come in and work with her on, she calls it her disbursement plan. So we create her the provider agency and the staff create her disbursement plan so that she is able to pay all her bills on time, rent, power, water bill.
Partners helps people that need the intervention. With me being my own guardian, she wants me to learn to be more speak for myself and do it for myself, because I've gotten so used to other people speaking for me and doing it for me, and she wants me to learn how to do it for myself. And that's what Partners is all about, is doing it for ourselves. My job, I work in the cafeteria. I do all the preparing for all the people and the children, and I work on the serving line. Oh yeah, I go to the Special Olympics every year. I love it. I love it. I got 2 second place this year. Let's just say for the Christmas thing this year, I'm gonna go buy some toys today for my bank and put them in the toy box. Let them give them to children and special that needs Christmas. And I felt like my community is giving back to me. Why not give back to children that could use it?
She is living a great life. She is fully integrated into the community. She interacts with people. She is well aware of what she needs in order to be able to sustain the life that she wants to live. She advocates for herself. She knows what she wants, and she knows how to go get it. And if we can help her get it, that's just awesome to me.
That was put together very well.
Very good, right?
So, yeah, for us, when we talked about IT systems, we talked about all the other things. It's important for all the members of the partners team, and I've always told folks previously, that's why we do the things that we do, and that's why it all has to work together. The other thing about that is you saw that all the members that we showed there were IDD recipients of care. So we're kind of doing them in phases. We'll share with you later some of the other ones that we're doing around some of the other disability types that we serve. So stay tuned. There's more to come with those. The last thing that I just want to mention is I think when we were together in November, we had our EQR, external quality review, work that had been done, and we were awaiting on the scores to come back in. And Partners has always done very well with those scores. And in 2016, our score was a 93. And I don't know that we ever heard, we continue to hear from the state that we've always been at or near the top, and we've always kind of, they've talked about, that's an important score for us all to look at. So a 93 in 2016, we had a 95 in 2017, and our preliminary score this year is a 96. And that's likely to go up because there's a couple of rescorings that are going on now, so it won't be lower than that. We anticipate it to go up. So just another great result by the Partners team. And again, there's a lot of people that put a lot of work into year-round making sure that we're meeting the quality standards and we're meeting the performance standards that the state set out. So I wanted just to share that with you. Something that we're very proud of is that score. And it's not a one-time thing. We continue to perform well on that score. And that's all I've got for right now. And I've got more things to cover later.
Thank you. Let's move on to discussion agenda. First on the list is County Commissioner Advisory Update. Let's start with Burke County, Commissioner Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We solicited for a grant to do a water project on Highway 18 South, Lonely Road. And we got a 1.883834 grant. But through all that process, it's been about a year now, and they got a bid on it to do it. It's $225,000 more than the bid. I suggested that because it was so much higher than anticipated, we resubmitted the bid. Their action was that the more longer we wait, the higher it's probably going to be to go ahead, and we're going to secure $225,000 from the fund balance while we try to get the grant people to end up, and maybe we won't have to pay on that. We also are going to have open house and dedication of our newest elementary school. That is the Mountain View School, and it will be held on Tuesday, January the 19th at 4. And as all commissioners love is that budget process. We start that on February 22nd with our senator and House representative and Western Piedmont County.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Norman, let's move on down the line.
We had a real good year. Back in 2018, we started our communication center, which is about $20 million. It will be completed in time in February for a retreat. We started addition to a jail, about $35 million. We saw them up. Okay? And it'll be completed in May. We'll be able to move all prisoners back in out of county. And that $2 million a year will go away. That's what they call it. To set them out of county. And then along with that, we had 2 high schools where the 2 auditoriums were completed this year. We started 2 more middle schools this year. And we completed one of the elementary schools. Still on that. But anyway, it's been a good year, but we also have all economic development. We had the new Cohen plant on the south end of the county with the average wages is under $10,000 a year. So, and that brings a lot of young people back home. And this real, that's right now it works. So, a good year coming up look like, and hopefully we won't spend as much money this year as we did last year.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Allen?
You know, 18 runs through Cleveland County, we're getting ready to start our budget process. Can we move some of that funds over somewhere else? You can go ahead and come on.
Trying to get them to extend.
Yeah. We're going through the interview process for EMS director, DSS director, and travel and tourism director. So that we've got a very busy all one time doing that. But we're also proud to, we have a marketing website that was created by our economic development group called Charlotte's Backyard. And you know, it's stemming off the fact that we are close to Charlotte, and it's a very innovative, creative website that stimulates growth in the county, recognizing that employers in the county, trying to get people to want to come live, work, and play in Cleveland County. And we were awarded a platinum award for the AVA Digital Award, and which were those 2,500 international submissions. And it's, so we're really proud of that for this website. It's been very good. We've been recognized several times in different platforms throughout the year. So Charlotte's Backyard, you know, look it up. Also, just recently started the renovation of a Red Cross building we had in town that I've been on the board for over 6 years now, and I think we've gotten the most comments from the community of the appreciation of us keeping that Red Cross building. And because Red Cross was housed there, and they moved their regional offices to Hickory, so there would not be any presence as far as physical presence in the county. So we purchased the building, and we've moved our EMS department, our planning department, and moved some groups there. This has freed up some space in other areas in the county. And we also left space for the Red Cross to be in that building and continue to have an operation, which would be great. Heaven forbid if we'd ever have a catastrophe, we'd have Red Cross and the EMS group there to collaborate together. We're really excited about that.
Thank you. Commissioner McCall?
Lincoln County's busy. We have budgeted money for Parker's Lobby to be expanded, which you already know about that, in our current budget. The county manager and our director has talked about addressing money shortages for our police protection, because we have some issues with that. I just returned from NCACC, where I represented Lincoln County, and I want to say thank you, Commissioner Barnes. I appreciate your recognition of what we're trying to do collaboratively for mental health and also the opioid crisis. Thank you very much. It was greatly appreciated. She spoke to the whole group. The county continues to work to address our opioid crisis along with other agencies. Our DSS director is currently heading that up, so we have a very large group that are trying to put together, hitting it in every angle, because you can't do it with one, as you well know. We have purchased a new senior center, and we're working on the upfit for that, and that's taking some time, you know, as you can know. Lastly, I have a presidential appointment with International Economic Development with NACO, so I'm on a lot of conference calls with the President of the United States. So day before yesterday, I was on the call with President Trump. He spoke to us personally. It was not on the record with media, okay, so they were asked to leave the conversation. It was also not on the record totally, but what he asked of everyone who was on the call was for us to speak to our representatives both at local level and above regarding the wall. And he talked about the safety issues. They're currently catching 2,000 people a day. 1 in 4 women are being molested or raped as they're crossing. He went through a lot of statistics. So I just wanted to mention that since we're all in the room together. You know, we all have varying opinions, but it's just something that they feel very strongly about. So thank you.
Okay. Chief Ramey, and for the new people, Gaston County has a designee, which is Chief Ramey of the Gaston County Police. So what's happening in Gaston County?
We always got something on.
I know, I live there.
We have been approved to replace our public safety radio system, so we'll be switching to the North Carolina Viper system, which for us is a really big expenditure, about $14 million. Because we dispatch to just about everybody except for maybe 3 police agencies.
You've got all the dispatch
We've
now.
got all the dispatching and communications for fire, volunteer fire, city fire, and the medic folks as well. So it's a big undertaking. So that should be starting rather quickly. We're currently in the middle of, maybe about halfway, of building a new animal shelter. I was told yesterday that it should open in June, but it keeps raining like it has been. Obviously, in Gaston County, we're going under a property reevaluation, which should bring in an extra $20 million to revenue to the county. They expect property values to go up around 15 to 30%, depending on what part of the county you're in. Sonic Automotive bringing 500 jobs to Lowell that are this call taking.
It's a call center, yeah.
Be competing with me and my telecommunications. We have several large housing developments that are proposed in the southern part of the county. Some of them are contentious. One's 1,400 homes, one's 720, and one's 513. So that's a lot of houses in an area that will need to be schooled and this and everything. We're getting ready to undertake an assistant county manager search, since we have an opening there. And then Partners is part of the group that is working along with many others, including myself, to create a family justice center in Gaston County. So that's just some of the stuff that we're
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Greetings from Yadkin County. Just Brett mentioned the Christmas function for Partners. Yadkin is the smallest county in this group, and on December 21st, we held our about 7th annual employee Christmas dinner. We have a catered meal for all 260-some county employees at our combination agricultural education building. We built a couple of years ago, and before that we had it various places around where we could house that group. And we give every employee a honey baked ham for Christmas. They are folks happy. You know the value of your employees, as we do too. We have a good group in Yankton County. We are getting started to build a new sheriff's department, where we very near where we constructed our new jail several years ago. And we're also beginning to look at some additional office government space in downtown Yadkin, where we're beginning to work towards purchasing some really, I guess you might say, retail property right in downtown near the courthouse. So, some of the other fellow commissioners, I'm sure, will be aware that while our good friend Larry left the board, our chairperson, Kevin Austin, ascended to the presidency of the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, which we're proud. Kevin's a great guy, and I certainly enjoyed serving with him. Also, our Human Services Director, Kim Harrell, will be installed as the president of North Carolina Association of health directors, or not DSS directors, I'm sorry, in July. So, I'm sure it's another thing I mentioned, but I'll take enough time. So,
Thank you. Commissioner Barnes, I
Yes.
know you're brand new, you and Commissioner Boynes, but a few words.
Well,
Catawba County too has just completed its reevaluation, and those notices are out. Russ got his, so I can't say that we had any 30% increase, but there are certainly some in the southeastern end of our county that have seen considerable appreciation. We completed an emergency services study and find that we're in great shape. We're meeting all of the expectations and achieving very well. However, with the growth in the county and the housing developments that are taking place, we are looking at adding 6 additional paramedics this year. Those were already pre-budgeted. At our community college, we have a new building that has recently been completed. They're beginning the movement process. It is called the Workforce Solutions Center, and we hope to be able to prepare students from high school all the way up through their 60s for higher level jobs. And I will mention the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners always tries to have top 5 goals for the legislature, and the one relating to partners would be in the top 5. That is to support provision of state resources to ensure county ability to provide essential public health, behavioral health, and social services with specific consideration to the challenges of incarcerated persons, the continued county role in behavioral health governance, and programs addressing substance abuse disorders throughout the Medicaid transformation. So you're in the top 5. That means you've got some really good advocates working for you.
Our county government's been on the move. We moved Board of Elections, tax office, and the ag extension into what used to be the old Lowe's or Just Say building on 601, and that building probably never been used for anything else. And they're pretty happy with that. We did have our Christmas luncheon in the new conference room, Farm Bureau conference room. Farm Bureau helped sponsor that conference room. It's really nice. Got a kitchen off the side. So it's a great place for not just our county government, but for all of our county to be able to use if they need to, but to have to hold a meeting with large groups of people. The rest of the county government has moved to the old courthouse and in the square. So county manager, human resources, finance, facilities all have moved to the old courthouse. They didn't renovate the main floor because it had been renovated years ago, but the upper floor is now a meeting room for county commissioners. They've redone that whole third, what I would call the third floor. They renovated that whole third floor. The commissioners meeting room is now in the old courthouse. They'll take the old government center and turn that into social services and other offices that are much needed in the county. So that's what's going on there. We just bid out the landfill expansion. We're getting ready to expand our landfill, and we did bids on that and approved those last meeting. We had some school projects that have been done. Mount Airy City Schools opened their new central office in Mount Airy, which is nice. We went to visit there on Tuesday night, and the board recognized the board of commissioners for their support of Mount Airy City Schools. But that is a nice facility. Also houses some programs for Surrey Community College. Surrey Community College and other agencies within the city. Elkin City and Surrey County Schools are getting ready to start projects. Surrey County Schools is going to do three projects, Franklin Elementary, Dobson, and Mountain Park. They'll do renovations at those 3 schools, and then Elkin City will build a new gym. And I don't know if you've ever been to Elkin City Schools, but Elkin High School is on a hill, and the gym is at the bottom, down closer to the river. Right. And so it's very difficult to get around. So they're going to fix it so you've got an elevator that goes down. It's going to be a really nice setup for them. But that was much needed for them. We also, at the last meeting, we have an opioid director. He presented to the board, and that will go to, we have a planning meeting in February, and I'm sure that'll be a big piece of our planning meeting in February 27th to be exact. And then we'll also probably talk about our jail, which is overcrowded, and our sheriff's office, and 911 communications will probably be on there as well for discussion. And that's pretty much what I have.
Thank you. Let's move on, executive dashboard report, Ms. Susan Lockett.
Our dashboard is on page 32 of your packet. So we'll start with looking at our penetration rate. So the penetration rate is calculated on a rolling 12-month calendar basis. So between December of 2017 and December of 2018, our penetration rate is 16.5%. And this calculates out to 184,400 unduplicated Medicaid eligibles, with 30,500 of those individuals receiving at least one billable service during that year. So we can move to page 33 for grievances. So reported in November for October, we had 9 grievances. Partners took an average of 9.25 working days to resolve the informal grievances in October, and that benchmark is 15 days. And for our formal grievances, we took 24.2 calendar days to resolve those, with the benchmark being 30 days. You can look at our current ratios on page 34. We've already covered the balance sheet. So on the current ratios, our consolidated current ratio for partners as of November is 2.79 to 1, but our minimum solvency requirement is 1 to 1. We estimate that our internal year-end current ratio will be 2.0. You can look at the defensive interval. As of November the 30th, we had 83.9 days of consolidated service expenses in cash. The minimum requirement is 30 days. We're estimating our internal year-end to be 60 days. The basis of this calculation is total operating expenses adjusted for non-cash expenses. And that decrease in our financial ratios are basically part of the MOE that we have to use. On page 35, we can look at our service expense ratio. The Medicaid service expense ratio for our fiscal year to date is 103%, and that includes our fund balance. The state IPRS service expense ratio is 81.8%, and that includes the MOE. Our total Medicaid expense ratio is 109.1%. Our medical loss ratio is 92.4%, and the benchmark for this measure is 85%. So we can move to our service costs on page 36 and 37. For our fiscal year-to-date, Partners has overspent our Medicaid service dollars by $3.6 million, which is 3.7% over our FY19 budgeted numbers. For our state service dollars, Partners is over budget by $1.7 million, or 11.1%. Then on page 38 and 39, we'll look at our super measures. So for the first one is our CCLI measures. Partners is required to have an increase in 61 individuals housed for this fiscal year. That just means at the end of FY19, we should have a total of 263 individuals in housing. And at the end of September, we had a net of 220 individuals in housing. So this represents 84% of our FY19 annual target. We also have an innovation super measure for our integrated care, and for the period from December of 2017 through November of 2018, we had 569 consumers, with 547 of them receiving services for an overall percentage of 96.1%, and the standard is 90%. And then Pam's favorite, our ambulatory follow-up. So in September, we have a peanut flag on this. In September, for Medicaid consumers, we had 133 that was discharged from our inpatient mental health, and 65.6% or 73 of those consumers had a follow-up within 7 days. We met that measure with 53 consumers. And so during the same period, 32 Medicaid consumers were discharged from inpatient SU services, and 43.8% or 14 of them had follow-up services within 7 days. So we met the measure with 12 consumers. And then for our state consumers, we had 104 state consumers were discharged from our inpatient mental health services, with 40.4% or 42 consumers had follow-up services within 7 days. And so during that same reporting period, we had 160 state consumers were discharged from inpatient SU services, with 48.1% or 76 of those consumers had follow-up within 7 days. So that's the highlights of the dashboard. If anyone has any questions about PI or claims, we'd be glad to answer those. Or any other questions that you might have.
Any further questions? And anybody is invited to listen in. Most of the finance committee is done by teleconference, or we meet several times. But anybody is welcome to join
Usually
in.
the Thursday before, but if any board member would like to do that, they would need to call and get the phone number.
Yeah. Yeah, we can get that, yeah. But anybody can listen in, because we have some pretty good discussion that way. Yeah. Who had, yes?
I just had one additional comment. When I was with the CPAC, they showed some longevity measures on the substance use. And I just saw this, it was really cool. In July of 2017, we took a measure as where Partners was at on meeting the 7-day follow-up for substance use. And we were at 14.4%, or the lowest in the state. In June 2018, we were measured, it was 40.6%, or the highest in the state. In fact, we were the only ones who met the state minimum measure. So I just really wanted to point that out, that our staff has done some really good work around these measures, recognizing that 40% for us is the minimum, but it's not where we want to be.
Yeah. Thank you for that, because they can tell you I question this just about every time we have a meeting. Their follow-up. Any further questions for Susan or Niels? Okay. Thank you. Let's move on to approval of policies and procedures. We have the third quarter, and you would have looked at the ones that we have, the IDD care coordination. As I went through them, I had one major question, but I got it answered when I called and talked to Anita, and I don't know if she passed it on to Selena. So, is there a motion to approve the third quarter subset policies and procedures?
Whoops.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Now we are going to have a closed session.
Make a motion to go into closed session. I move to enter into a closed session pursuant to North Carolina's General Statute, Section 143-318.11. 3 points A1, to prevent disclosure of information that is confidential or not considered a public record under Chapter 132. Point number A3, to consult with our attorney, preserving privilege. Point A4, to discuss matters relating to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by the partners, and to protect confidential competition healthcare information protected under General Statute 122C-126.1.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Hold on a minute. All partner staff, except for Rhett, Andrew, Will Callison, and Anita, are excused, as well as non-voting members and all guests. So, just those few people.